Hey everyone, it's Kathy and you're back here in my craft room and on my YouTube channel. Welcome in. Thank you for stopping by. If you're new to my channel, please take time to watch my video. If you like what you see, please click the subscribe button and subscribe to my channel. Ring the bell and that way you'll never miss what's going on here at Random Acts of Stamping. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I'm located here in the beautiful state of North Carolina, and if you're not currently working with a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would love the opportunity to earn your business. So enough of that chit chat, let's get busy with our card. This card, I actually learned how to make this one from my upline, Brandy Cox, and we had a Creative Day weekend retreat last week, and it was a virtual online. It is open to the public. They do them quarterly, and if you need more information about the next one that's coming up, please reach out to me and I can hook you up. But it is so worth the money, $45, and you get 4 very talented ladies bringing you designs, and this is one of the ones that Brandy did, and I love a fun fold. Now I showed this on my live yesterday, and I thought Saturday video would be really great to bring this one to you because it is a little more complex and it is something that I need to do step by step. So with all of that being said, let me show you what I did. I made a template. And on my template, I have that my piece of paper is 7 by 8 1/4, so 7 inches by 8 1/4. And then I have on here that I measured across from here to here 5.5 inches and made a tick mark right there. So what you're going to do is just, I did it with a ruler, and I just took my ruler and I laid it on about like that, and then I made my tick mark at 5.5. Alright, then you also need to make a tick mark on this side, but you need to turn it. So you have it like this. You want to turn it a half a turn. Make sure that's right. Yeah, a half a turn to your left. And then you're going to take your ruler and you're going to lay it down, and again at 5.5 inches you're going to make a tick mark. Then what I do, before that you're going to score at 2 3/4 in, and on the 7-inch side 2 3/4, and then you're going to turn it counterclockwise. I have to stop and think which is clock and which is counterclock. So counterclockwise, and then you're going to do the same thing. You're going to score again at 2 3/4. Do this before you do any of that measuring. Once you get that in, then you're going to measure over to 5.5. Then you're going to turn it a half a turn to your left, and you're going to measure at 5.5. And then I like to take my ruler because you want that line to cross that. You want it to cross right where that comes together. See what I'm saying? Right there in that point. That's where you want that line to intercede. So, or I guess crossover. That's good. So I took a ruler and I used a pencil and a very light line. I lined up from that tick mark to that tick mark, and then I took my pencil and just drew a line. That gives me my line now, and this is going to be a score line. So then you're going to take this to your trimmer. You're going to line it up from here, make sure it's nice and straight to there in your trimmer track, and you're going to score. That's all there is to it. I would suggest, if you love this fold, make yourself a template like this. Have everything on it that you need information wise, and then what you're going to do is you're going to fold and crease, fold and crease, fold and crease. Now once you do that, you're going to take your 2 fold lines and bring them together, that diagonal, bring it together, and you're going to have something like that. See what that looks like? Then you're going to lay it flat and press everything down. Then you're going to bring your bone folder over and you're going to crease those lines really well, making sure that everything is even at the bottom and on your sides. that is your mechanism. So now you are ready to decorate. Now I took the liberty of going ahead and prepping a piece of paper, and this is from the, hang on, I'll tell you what it is. It is from the Textured Chic. And there's some beautiful, beautiful paper in this pack. Very, very pretty paper. And you've got the gold foil on one side and a muted pattern on the other, but it is stunning. So I have quite a bit of this left because I really hadn't used that much of it. So I decided, let's go ahead and make a card using that particular paper. I think it's beautiful because it's got the gold in it. And we're going to do the same flower that we did here, but we're going to color it a little bit different. And we're going to do it in a different color ink. So I think that'll make the world, I mean, we're going to use different color Stampin' Blends. Alright, that's going to make the world of difference. But let's go ahead and get, you're going to need some scraps of colors that coordinate. And I'm going to use the Mint Macaron and Petal Pink. And we're going to cut some mats. So our Mint Macaron, we're going to need 3 mats out of this at 4.5 by 3 1/4. So I'm going to see how many I can get. 3 1/4. That's going to give me 1. 3 3/4. We're going to go 3 3/4 this way, and we're going to do I'll tell you what, we're just going to cut it because I have got plenty of scraps, and I'm pretty sure we can bust into our scrap bin to make this. Let me zoom y'all out just a little bit. I want you to be able to see my trimmer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut 3 3/4. And then I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to cut 4.5. Alright, this gives us 1 mat. So now we need the Petal Pink, and we need the Petal Pink to be 4 1/4 by 3. So 4 1/4. By 3. Alright, and that gives us that. One and a half. Let's see. Make sure I did this right. This piece needs to be 3 1/4. And then by 4 1/2. Okay, that's right. I knew something was off because it did not want to, a little bit of fraying right there. So now we need a piece of basic white, and we need 4 by 2 3/4. So again, I'm going to reach into my scrap bin, and we're going to cut this at 2 3/4. And it needs to be 4 inches this way. So we can trim that down just a tiny bit. And this is the piece we're going to actually stamp our flower on because it's going to go right on the front of this. So we're going to get this nice build up here of beautiful cardstock. Now I'm going to go off camera because I need 2 more sets like this. So I'm going to go cut those, and when we come back I will show you how to stamp this, emboss it, color it, and how to put everything together on your card. We'll be right back. Alright, as you can see, we have all 3 of our 3 sets of mats. So when you cut these, you're going to need 3 of the green, 3 of the petal pink, and 3 of the white. And the reason for that is we are going to layer up. One set's going to go here, and then when you open this up, another set is going to go directly behind that, and then your last set is going to hide itself inside your card right here, so that when everything comes together, everything covers everything up. So I hope that makes sense to y'all. It's a very simple design once you get this fold, and I would suggest taking some scrap paper, some copy paper, and play with getting your fold like you want it. You want to make sure that your scores are on the side that you want on the inside, so that when you fold in, your outside will be the part that you want to show the most of. That will be the back and the front detail of your card. You will have a little space here. It's okay because all of these papers coordinate with one another, so you will not have any issues with making sure that this coordinates really well. So now let's go ahead, and I'm going to stack 2 of these over here. I'm going to pull the white piece off of this last one and lay that pink and mint macaron, and we're going to do some embossing. So in order to emboss, we need a few tools. We need our Versamark ink. We need some embossing powder, and I'm going to do it in gold. We need our embossing buddy. We need a stamp block, and we need a stamp. So we are going to use the Shaded Summer, and we're going to use this flower right here. So I'm going to go ahead and pop that flower out. It's this largest one right there. And I want to get all of the flower and leaves on here, so I'm going to arrange this so that I can get everything onto this this piece. Let me push that up a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm simply going to need a bigger block. Alright, let's go ahead and pick that up. And since this is a good size piece or stamp, I'm going to take my ink to the stamp. I just find this easier anytime I'm working with a larger detail type stamp. Get that inked up really good. And now we're going to turn it over, and we are going to press it down right about there. Give it a good even press. Now you can use your Stamparatus for this if you're not comfortable with getting it on there the first time. By all means, pull out your Stamparatus and use it. I think I did okay. It looks pretty good. The question will be once, and you know what I didn't do? I didn't prep my paper with my embossing buddy after I pulled it out. I am so bad about doing that. I will forget every time. So let's just hope we don't get embossing powder where we don't want it. And I got a couple little places that I didn't want it, and some places where I do. Alright, this is where our trusty little paintbrush comes in. And right here, I want that gone. Right there. So anywhere that you see any flecks of your gold that you don't want to be there, just take that little paintbrush and go over it, and that will get rid of those little spots or whatever that may have popped up because I was a bad girl and forgot to use my embossing buddy. So after I can't believe I pulled it out, I had it laying right here and forgot to prep my paper. Oh well, things happen. So I'm going to take my heat tool out. I'm going to let it heat up for just a few minutes, and we're going to heat soak this. And there's the magic. I'll heat it from the back as well, just to kind of help it unwarp. Anytime you place heat onto a piece of cardstock, you're going to get a little bit of warping, but by reverse heating it, and that is heating it from the back, it helps it to lay back nice and flat. And isn't that beautiful? Love the way that turned out. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and move my embossing buddy over, and the next thing that I want to do is, I think I want to stamp a sentiment, and I think I'm going to use, out of the same stamp set, I think I'm going to make this a thank you card. So I'm going to put my thank you, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp right here at the top. And I think I'm going to stamp this in the mint macaron just to bring out the green that's going to be behind this. I think it's going to be lovely like that. Get a stamp block. So pretty. So now we're going to do a little coloring on our flowers, and I'm going to get a petal pink, and we're going to use our Stampin' Blends on this. Alright, there's my light and dark petal pink, and I need a light and dark mint macaron. So those are the two inks I'm going to use, and all I'm going to do is go in and color everywhere there's white space on these flowers, like here. And I'm using the light petal pink first. Now that I've got everything colored with the flowers, I'm going to go back in with the dark, and I just want to lay down a little bit of dimension. I like to leave a little bit of white space in here because I think it adds to the card. Alright, so now we're going to go in with our mint macaron, and I'm going to do my leaves. And I think that turned out absolutely beautiful, and it's ready to go on our layering pieces. So I'm going to pull this 1 and 2. And here we go. There's our third one right over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some liquid glue. So we're going to layer this on top of our mint macaron. And then we're going to layer this piece on top of the other. And I think for this I'm going to put some Stampin' Seal on the back of this because I need it to lay nice and flat. Alright, that looks really good, and that's exactly what I was looking for. So now what we want to do is bring our card back over, and we are going to lay this down right where we want it. And I'd say this looks pretty good just like that. But remember, you're only going to need glue here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my trusty little pencil again, and I am going to mark off. That will let me know that glue goes here. This ensures I'm not going to get glue all over everything else. So I'm going to grab my liquid glue, just like that. Then we're going to bring this over, and we want to make sure because you do not want that to cause your card to stick together. So get that glue out of there. And if you've got some little pencil marks still showing, those are going to get covered up. I'm not even going to worry about them because we're going to put another piece on here just like that. So let's work on our second image, what we want to put on the inside. So this is going to be a thank you card. So I think I'm going to stamp that flower again, but this time I'm going to stamp it in the mint macaron. So let me put my pen back in my glue before I get into a sticky situation. Alright, once again we're going to go ahead and put these pieces together. I think I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal again. Alright, so we have these layered up, so now what we need to do is decide what we're going to stamp on that. Alright, I think for this one I'm going to put this little flower right here, and the sentiment don't know that I'm going to have room for this one. This is a long sentiment, but you never know. Alright, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and stamp this flower down first and get it situated where I want it. And I think if I go over there, I can get this here just like I want it as well. So let's go to right about there, and I'm going to stamp this in, I think I'm going to do that petal pink again. This is the softest pink that we have. I'm going to grab that, and I'm going to grab the mint macaron as well. Very pretty. And then for my sentiment, I think I'm going to do it in the petal pink. Just changing everything up just a little bit. Sometimes change can be a good thing. So let me clean the stamp really quick. And this one. And this one. And now we need to pick this one up. like the way that turned out. I think it looks really pretty. So let's go ahead and layer this up. So we need to pull out our other mat. We've already gotten this one down, so now we're going to turn this in a landscape position, and we're going to glue this over top of this. Alright, I'm going to put this over, and I'm going to bring my Stampin' Seal. Now I'm going to bring this white piece to my mats, and I want to get that centered up nice and straight if possible. And now that is ready to go onto our card. So we have two of our panels made that's going to go on, and this is going to go directly behind this. This is going to be pretty easy to line up and get where you want it to be. Not because of our sisters, you know, the bickering back and forth, but because this is, oops, okay, is that right? Make sure when you put this in that you're gluing it in the right direction, because sometimes craft will send me coupons, and Dennis will go to the store and he will use them and bring home something that I really didn't need. Does that ever happen to y'all? Oh goodness. Alright, let me take a little break and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. What I want to do at this point is I want to glue this to this piece, but this needs to go on identical to this piece so you don't see what's behind it or what's in front of it, because we want that to be hidden. So it needs to be glued on specifically and directly over top of it. So I'm going to use some liquid glue, and the reason for that is I need some wiggle room. I need to have wiggle room on this so that when I lay it down, I can get it squared up exactly to the other piece. So liquid glue will be my friend on this. So I am going to lay this down. I know that when I open the card I want it to look like this, so I'm going to lay that down directly on top of that, and I am going to make sure that everything is nice and lined up and straight. That looks really good. It's not hard to get this on like that, and you know what, I am seeing a little buckling right here, so I'm going to put a little liquid glue up underneath that corner or that side and press it down. I'm going to give everything a nice firm press with the heel of my hand. Now this part of our card is done. Now it looks like I got a smudge right there, so I'm going to, something sticky right there. Double check your desk and make sure you don't have any embossing powder or glue or anything stuck to your mat, because that will pick up onto your card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a brush and I'm just going to brush everything off just to make sure I got a nice clean work surface here. And then I'm going to go back over it with my hand just to make sure everything is gone, and it feels pretty good. A little bit of embossing powder I feel on it, so maybe I will take my little vac. I got this little ladybug vac that's great for that. So let's turn it on and just get a nice little vacuum across here. And that worked really good. So now we've got that much of our card done. Now we need to get our piece that's going to go on this inside. And again, we're going to need to be very decisive as to what we're going to put here and how much of it we want to hang out. And I'm going to go back over this mechanism very shortly and show you once again how to get that mechanism made, because that can be what would hinder you from doing this card. And it's really not hard. It's just a matter of putting it down right where it needs to be. That looks real good right there. So I'm going to take and make myself some little marks on there so that I know that I need to line up here and here. See how easy that was? And we can always use our eraser. And if you get marks on something that you don't need it on, or like this one when I did the mark across the middle, you can always go back and take those out just by using a nice eraser. Alright, I think that looks pretty good. There's some pencil mark there. Probably one right here. And there we go. So cute. Alright, so now I'm going to take this. Did I erase my marks? Nope, here and here. Okay, I know that piece wants to go there. So I'm going to line that up. Then I can line everything else up on top of it. So again, I'm going to use liquid glue because that will give me a little bit of wiggle room, just to make sure that I've got this exactly where I want it. Alright, I'm going to find my lines again. Right here. And I'm going to get in there and get that little pencil mark off. Both sides. Now let's give this a test run, and that covers it completely, just like I was hoping. Now we can go ahead and put our Petal Pink mat down. Again, when you're putting this down, just try to get your borders as nice and even as you can. Once you do, give it a press. Now we need to decide what we're going to put on the inside, and I think what I want to do is I'm going to come back with that bigger stamp, and I think I want to stamp just the corner of it, like right about there. So I'm deciding if I want to do it in the green like I did before, and I think I do. So I'm going to grab my mint macaron, and I'm just going to ink up what I need, which is right here. pretty, but I did get a little bit of Bella. She is snoring up a storm, y'all. I did get a little bit of ink on my desk right there, so you know what I'm going to do? I am going to grab a wipe and wipe that down. Let's just do a little bit of our stamp cleaner, and I can clean that off of my desk with one swipe. So we'll do some Stampin' Mist. Just going to wipe that up. This stuff will also condition your mat, so it's really good for it. And we're going to go ahead and clean that stamp while we're at it. Alrighty, so now we're ready to stamp a sentiment onto here, and I think this one that says some friendships are just meant to be. I like that. Alright, once I get this lined up like I want it, then I'm going to go ahead and take, again, I think I'm going to go in with the Petal Pink, because I want to kind of stay with that palette of that pink and green. So we are going to grab a stamp block and pick this up, ink it up, and then stamp right there. And I think I'm going to go back on this one, and I'm going to color in my flowers just a tiny bit. It really doesn't hurt to have a little extra color. That was the light Petal Pink. Now I'm going to go for the dark. Alright, I think this is all I need to do on here. Although I did a boo-boo and I colored those leaves pink. That was not my intention, so we're just going to go over them with the dark. I think that'll be good. So now we're ready to put this piece inside, just like that. And again, I'm going to grab for my liquid glue. Alright, bring our card back over, and we are going to glue this right here. Beautiful layering, I love it. And these 3 mats were all identical, and we have a beautiful thank you friendship card. I love the way this turned out. I hope that you did. And if this is something that you would like to make on your channel, or you want to make it but you don't have a place to show it, please go over and join our Facebook group. And there you can join. You can see inspiration from other crafters, and you can also get updates from me when I'm going live. If there's a change in my schedule where I have to postpone or cancel a video, that will also be listed there. But normally my schedule is the same. It's 3 days a week. I do a recorded video on Tuesday, a recorded one on Saturday, and I do a live on Friday, and all 3 of these start at 12 noon. So enjoy. God bless you, and know that I care and I love you. And as I always say in closing, let everything that you do and say bring glory to our Father in heaven. He is worthy. Wait right here for the second part, and this is going to show you how to make the mechanism. I'm going to go into a little bit more detail on how to fold it to get that fold. We'll be right back. Before we get on with making that mechanism, I wanted to show you, I did put some of my little brass butterflies on here, and I put 3, one up here, one in the middle, and then one flying down here by this petal. I love the way this card turned out. I think it's stunning. And again, I have both of these that I did. They're quite different. One says, wishing you a speedy recovery. I'm here for you. I'm sending well wishes your way. So I thought both of these are stunning cards, and I think anybody would be thrilled to get one of these from you. So try that technique. I think you'll enjoy it. All right, let's get to our mechanism as promised. We are going to take just a piece of thin cardstock. You could actually do this on copy paper, any type of paper you want. I have a much thinner sheet of 8.5 by 11, and we're going to cut this down, and our piece needs to be 8.25 by 7 inches. So I am going to bring my trimmer up. Let me slide this back over here. Alright, so I'm going to take my piece of paper and I'll put it in on the 8.5 inch side, and I need it to be 8 1/4, so I'm going to cut 1/4 inch off. If you take 8.5 inches and take 1/4 off, you're going to have 8 1/4. So there is my strip. I'm not going to keep that. That's not worth keeping. Then we're going to turn it on the 11 inch side, and I'm going to open up my arm because we're going to need to go over to 7 inches. Just like that. And we're going to cut that off. Now this is your mechanism. This is the piece that's going to get folded and scored. So while we have it here, let's go ahead and score it at 2 3/4. Alright, 2 3/4, 1/4 inch before 3. I'm going to move that cut blade out of my way so I don't cut my paper. And I'm going to give that a good score just like that. Now, we're going to need to turn this. I'll move some of this stuff out of my way. Alright, so now we got that score line. We're going to turn this counterclockwise one turn, and we're going to score it again at 2 3/4. Now that we've gotten that scoring done, don't push your scoreboard away too very far because we're going to do some more scoring. But what I want to do is go ahead and score these lines, because what I'm trying to establish is where that cross is right there. So I'm going to use my pencil, and I am going to put a little line right there. Now we're going to need to take our ruler, and we're going to measure up on this one to 5 1/2. So starting at the top left hand corner, you're going to measure to 5 1/2, and then we're going to turn it to the top where you've got the small square here, and we're going to do the same thing at the top. We're going to go over to 5 1/2 and make a tick mark. I hope that's making sense to you. Now what we need to do is connect Alright, once you establish your lines, then I like to take my ruler I know I measured this side. Okay, we're going to turn it this way, and we're going to measure 5 1/2. No, here. I do have a tick mark there. I can see it. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take our ruler and run it across from that score line to that score line, making sure if you hear that little bit of a music type sound in the background, it's my washer. Yes, I'm doing laundry and making a video and washing dishes, and I would say that I am multitasking at the best. Alright, so I'm going to take my pencil once again and make a very faint line. Pretty good. Then we're going to take this. You can do it on your scoreboard or your trimmer. I'm just going to use my trimmer because it's here. And I'm going to line that line up into my trimmer. And I'm just going to score that just like that. Now it's off just a hair, but I'm going to show you how to fix it. Just work all of your crease lines. The more you work these, the better this piece will come together when you get ready to fold it. So just make sure you're working those score lines, each and every one of them. Okay, and then all you're going to do is take these two pieces and hold them together like this, and then bring those two together, making sure that everything's lining up. Make sure that's lining up. Now this is where we're going to have a little trouble because I didn't get that completely even, but we're going to manipulate it. See what I'm doing? I'm just pinching it up. And once you're happy with the way this is laying, you can go ahead and press that mechanism piece down. Try to make sure everything stays as lined as possible. And that is all there is to making that template. And like I said, write your information on here. Write that. Oh, of course, I dropped something. Write that this is 7. Oops. That was a big piece of lead. 7.5. All right, 7.5 by 8 1/4, and then we're going to mark that we measured in this direction and tick marked 5.5, and then we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to do tick mark at 5.5. And that's all there is to it. And when you put that together, then this is what you have. Like I said, I have my template that I've done, and I'm hanging on to it because if I decide I want to make another one of these cards, it'd be very easy for me to pull that template and remember exactly what I need to score and cut and what have you. Alright, so that concludes our video of these two very fun fold cards to make. It's a good way to use up that designer series paper that you've been holding on to and not using. Just go in, grab a sheet, look at the colors, and grab a couple of the colors that you like that's in the paper, and then cut your smallest mat, and those measurements are all on my blog. Together really easy. It's not a hard one to make. So God bless you all, and I hope and pray that you will try this card, and I also hope and pray that everyone is safe and happy and enjoying I would say the weather, but it's pretty gloomy here today. I hope that it's not where you're at, and I wish you all the best in the world. I love you guys so much. If you make this card, remember what to do. Go over to our Facebook group and share it so we can all see it. We love you, and we will craft again very soon. Bye-bye.